One habit got me one of my favorite photos, and it's so simple you will wish you started years ago. Carrying my camera every day changed how I shoot, see, and feel about my own skills. Here's how it all happened and why you should try it too. First, it allowed me to capture unexpected moments. We've all had those experiences where we thought, man, I wish I had my camera with me. Maybe it's light shining down on an alleyway or just visually pleasing colors right in front of your eyes. I used to miss those moments, but not anymore. One of my recent favorite photos was completely unplanned. I was walking to grab a cup of coffee and I passed by the street market that I pass by every day. The light came down on this narrow alleyway, casting a sharp shadow, and a person dressed in business attire was passing by, and I shot him. He gave me a look too. Then there is this one. A person was standing at a spot where her face was half in the shadow and half in the light, and I took a quick snap. I missed focus, but it still became one of my favorites. It wasn't a special location or event. It was just about being there at the right time with my camera ready. I noticed that these moments often happen when you least expect them. By always having my camera with me, I catch those moments, and it taught me to stay present, seeing beauty in the everyday. Next, it lowered the pressure of photo walks. Before, I reserved shooting for special occasions, rainy days, or a trip to a foreign destination. Those were my go-to opportunities. But because those days felt so rare and special, I put so much pressure on myself to come back home with a home run shot. The downside was, if I didn't capture anything great, I felt disappointed, sometimes even felt like a failure. It was frustrating. But carrying my camera every day changed all that. I stopped treating photography like a do-or-die game. Now it's a daily habit, not a special event. That shift in mindset made me more resilient to bad shooting days. When you shoot every day, you realize that failure isn't the end of the world. It's just part of the process. And you get a fresh start tomorrow, so no worries. I'm not as deeply invested in it like I used to be, and it feels so freeing. The more you shoot, the less you'll care in the best way. Next, it encouraged creativity and experimentation. For me, it started with experimenting with angles. Instead of shooting everything straight on, I began crouching low or shooting from the hip, or holding my camera up and shooting downwards. Sometimes I got nothing better to do, so I just shoot reflections or fruits in the market that I would usually never shoot on dedicated photo walks. I also play with different settings, like using slow shutter speeds to blur motion. The habit of always having your camera on you transforms routine activities into opportunities for creative expression. When you're bored of the same old, you begin to experiment, which leads to creativity and opens up doors for new styles that you haven't tried before. Next, it boosted my observation skills. Before, when I went on dedicated photo walks, I snapped 100 photos of anything that caught my eye, hoping something would turn out half decent. Now, I've learned to slow down. When you're shooting daily, you're not in that excited state. You start observing more carefully, watching how the light falls, waiting for the right moment, and thinking about composition before you even raise the camera. Always having your camera means you're always observing what's around you. Even when you're not actively shooting, you're in that photographer mode. And arguably, the most important skill in photography is the ability to notice. You get to practice this skill every day. I got better at spotting compositions quickly. Those complicated layer shots that used to take me minutes to set up, now I can see them quicker. Next, it got me to document my daily life. Photography isn't just for grand scenes. It's also about capturing the beauty in everyday moments. By capturing these, you're not only preserving memories, but also creating a visual diary that reflects your perspective and experiences. Over time, these photos become a life journal, reminding you of fleeting details that would have faded otherwise. Especially in Korea, we have what we call a redevelopment. This is when we tear down old parts of the city and rebuild them. Sadly, in this process, they get rid of charming old neighborhoods that are really photogenic. Even if it's not tearing down a whole neighborhood, lots of cities see tiny changes very rapidly. I think there is a huge value in capturing and preserving these parts of the city. Documenting your daily life helps you appreciate the present and the past. Next, it got me better versions of similar photos. Our daily route kinda stays the same. so it can quickly get repetitive and feel boring. But it's also an opportunity. It will eventually force you to look closer. You might have a perfect composition at a certain place, but you need a perfect subject to walk into the frame. This doesn't always happen, but because you have a chance at the same composition almost every day, you eventually end up with the shot you wanted. You add these better versions together, and that is a good portfolio. This process taught me patience and the value of revisiting locations. Lastly, it improved my technical skills. Practice is essential for getting better. The more you use your camera, the more comfortable you become with its functions, settings, and capabilities. You know how when it has been a while since using your camera, you almost feel like a beginner and need longer time to warm up? Always having your camera on you gets rid of this. Adjusting shutter speeds to freeze motion when running and gunning, and adjusting aperture settings depending on the brightness of the scene. It also gives you a daily feedback loop. Instead of coming home with hundreds of photos from a single outing, I come back home with just a handful. The smaller batch made it easier for me to review my work and really learn from it. I can immediately apply these lessons to the next day's photo walks. Over time, this daily practice helped me refine my skills in a way that occasional photo walks never could. Carrying my camera daily changed everything: my photos, vision, and my confidence. Try it for a week and see what happens. So do you carry your camera every day or just for photo walks? Drop it in the comments. And if this hit home, please click that like button and subscribe. It keeps me going. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.